Why do so few women gain leadership roles in our nation? My government teacher asked our class that very question just a few weeks ago, and the results were telling. 4 people raised their hands, 3 boys and me. The first boy said that maybe women lack leadership skills. The second boy pointed out that in early human tribes, men led because of their physical strength, and the pattern stuck. The third boy said that the reason women shouldn't have political leadership roles, not don't, shouldn't, is because women would introduce too much drama into our politics. A point he illustrated by shrieking, "OMG, she has the same shoes as me, let's go to war!" Finally, the teacher called on me. My answer was a condensed version of this speech. I addressed each of the previous comments, pointing out their fallacious but persistent effect on our culture, before explaining why women should lead, and how we can get there. But first, the perception that women lack skills. We can address a possible gender gap in leadership training by asking if men are more likely to receive business degrees than women. The answer, no. According to Forbes, business degrees are awarded nearly 50-50 to men and women. And yet the fact remains that once they receive their MBAs, men receive higher starting salaries, more raises, and more promotions than women. Since men and women on average have the same on-paper skill set, there must be some sort of bias at play. Which brings us to the second comment, that men lead because they have always led. Stated so clearly, this idea is obviously a tautology, a logical fallacy. And yet, the effect of tradition on our behavior cannot be ignored. Humans tend to favor those who resemble themselves, which means that men tend to promote men, perpetuating the gender gap. Plus, these long-standing traditions can affect how we communicate with one another. The Institute on the Teaching and Research of Women found that in mixed-gender business meetings, men were more likely to interrupt others and to speak more often and for longer periods of time. Women were more likely to be interrupted and to attach disclaimers and hedges to their statements. This matters because the people who speak more often and more assertively in these meetings are more likely to get promoted. However, this does not mean that women need to learn to act and speak entirely like men. In fact, many female conversational styles are actually beneficial in leadership roles. Which brings us to the third comment, that women are too petty to get the job done. This perception is the most bogus of all, yet it points to a major contradiction that all women face as they attempt to gain prominence. The boy in my class based his comment on the stereotype that women are more petty and jealous than men. But the opposite stereotype, that women are more cooperative and group-minded than men, is far more likely to be true. A meta-analysis on gender and leadership styles found that women tend to lead democratically, and men tend to lead autocratically. In our increasingly polarized political sphere, democratic leadership may be just the tool we need to fix our government. For example, during the recent government shutdown, the women of Congress banded together to attempt to find a solution that would appeal to both sides. And notably, one of the 2 senators who helped to broker the recent budget deal was a woman, Senator Patty Murray. Now, unfortunately, our modern political parties view this sort of compromise and bipartisanship as anathema, which may help to explain why so few women gain full party support. However, if we, the people, want our government to govern effectively, we would do well to elect more women. My 3 classmates opened my eyes as to why so few women lead. The trickier question is how we can get more women into leadership roles. I have a few suggestions. First, to counter the idea that women lack skills, we can continue to encourage our girls to earn business degrees. Second, to counter the effect of tradition, we can teach our girls to assert themselves and to not give up if they face prejudice. And to counter partisanship in our politics, we can continue to support female candidates for offices large and small. But most importantly, we must teach our boys not to believe negative stereotypes about women. If our young men continue to believe that women do not lead because they are unskilled or evolutionarily disadvantaged or petty and jealous, then we will never achieve gender parity. If we truly wish to close the gender gap, we must address both sides.